wide shoulders, necklace.
Are you ready?
Welcome to Living Strong, the flip side of adversity, with your host, Dr. Virdra Jackson. On our program, we explore the flip side of every story. And when you open yourself up to both sides, you'll realize that there are life lessons, powerful tools, and so much more. Now, here is Dr. Virdra Jackson.
Hello, hello, hello. This is Dr. Virdra Jackson, the CEO and creative behind Living Strong Consulting. And you have joined me on a moment in which, you know what, if there's ever been a time in which you have had to make an immediate flip, for me, that would be this moment here. So we had a guest planned, and you know what? Have you ever had a moment where your plan completely exploded in front of you and you had to make a decision? Am I going to fold, cancel, or quit? Or am I going to make a pivot? Well, I decided to pivot. Our guest didn't show up, so you've got me. And I want to talk about creating and cultivating change. You see, if there's anything we have had to learn over the past 2 years, it has been, how do I dig in and decide that there is more in me than the moment that is trying to shake me? And so I've decided it's open mic night. I've got some thoughts of my own that deal with how I've had to navigate change, how I've had to make a decision as an entrepreneur, as a mother of grown daughters, as a leader in the community, especially as a trainer of trauma-informed approaches. I have had to decide how I will, when my brain state is in survival mode, learn how to breathe. Not allow myself to get so carried away that what's in me can't still shine. So I have had the opportunity over the past few months to engage with a group of women who we have called the Girlfriend Gathering. You've heard me mention them in the past, and we're coming up on March 26th, our second session. And the focus of that session is change. How do we prepare our next level up move for one that will allow us to change and grow? And so I'm asking you, our Facebook community, as well as our listeners from Voice America, what questions do you have for me about how to navigate and survive change? You know, some immediate things that come up for me are when I'm getting ready to level up. And I've actually had this conversation a couple of times in the past few days with clients. When it's time for me to level up, sometimes I have so many thoughts happening at one time and I feel overwhelmed. Or I've listened to clients say, there's so much in my head, I can't even figure out how to move. Where do I go from here? Well, in those moments, I've said, get out of your head. If you want to be able to level up, it's imperative that you must get out of your head. Yes, the ideas are going to flow. Yes, you are going to feel like you're on overload. And there are going to be some things that wake you up in the middle of the night. And I'm going to encourage you, in a change season, our brain does have a limit to the amount of information it can navigate at any given time. And so when you feel like you can't think clearly, you're at your limit. And I'm encouraging you in those moments, instead of feeling overwhelmed, instead of shutting down, instead of saying, this is too much, I've got to shrink back and quit, I'm encouraging you, get out of your head. Now, my coachees who probably are also listening, because I sent a 911 out to all of my girlfriend gathering crew to log in with their questions as we prepare for next Saturday. You might recall when I said to you, get a big piece of paper. I'm not talking about a small 8x10. I'm talking about a big piece of paper that can handle your big ideas, and begin to chart everything. Do a brain dump. Put all of those ideas onto a piece of paper. And I'm encouraging you, don't edit them. This is not the time for you to decide, is this a good idea or is this a bad idea? Is this an idea that, I don't know if I can do that? Is this an idea that I actually want to share? No, you're not editing in a change moment. When you're ready to become that butterfly and you have been incubating for a period in time, and it's now time for you to stretch and spread those wings, that's not the time for you to shrink back or edit. It's the time for you to shine. And so your ideas want to be birthed. Put them all out on paper. The things you're afraid to say, the things you don't have an answer to, the things that you don't even actually fully know if you know how to do. The most important thing in this first step is to get it all out of your head and on big paper. Once you do that, you then free up your mind for you to be able to step back and look at all of the ideas. Don't rush this process. Allow that paper to sit for days and for you to walk past it and continue to add to it. And then when you feel like you're ready to begin to prioritize some things, you can then begin to look for trends. When we're ready to create not just a small shift, but a seismic shift in who we have said we want to be, in our resilience bounce forward, it's going to require us to step back and take a full look at those dreams. As you are taking a look at those dreams, I don't want you to get confused between your assignment versus your purpose. See, sometimes we will look at those big dreams and we're thinking and strategizing so far down the road that we lose sight of today. We're losing the opportunity to lock in on, what am I assigned to do today? What is the closest to the center of your influence that's on that piece of chart paper that you've placed on the wall? Begin to identify what most closely aligns with the assignment I have today. You see, if you get crystal clear on what is in your hand right now, what has been given to you as an assignment this moment, when we become solid and clear about our current assignment, it will lead you to your purpose tomorrow. Release the overwhelm of trying to figure out everything that's on your journey and get crystal clear on your assignment for today. So your first step, get out of your head. Second step, get clear on your assignment for today. And then begin to prioritize your next step based on what most closely aligns to the assignment that has been repeating itself in your ear. And then believe in the process. You know, as I look at some of the questions that are coming in on this change conversation, Esther asks, how do you move past paralyzing of your analysis? Well, Esther, this is exactly what I'm talking about. You don't have to know everything, but you do need to clear your mind. The paralysis often comes because you're trying to figure everything out. And I actually want you to make your steps smaller. So we get paralyzed when the dosing of our thoughts are overloaded. We get paralyzed and actually sabotage our ability to move forward when we're carrying too much in our thoughts. Do a brain dump. And as you do the brain dump, just focus on the next right step based on your current assignment. And as you take a step, remember, the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord. So you're going to take just that next step. Oftentimes people will get worried that I'm going to miss something. What if I take the wrong step? What if this isn't the right step? What if this isn't the perfect step? Well, I'm going to ask you, you know what? If we serve a God that can put the stars in the sky, can he not find you on your path to make sure that your destiny reaches you? Stop getting overwhelmed about, is this the right step? Do I have all of the steps? Take the step. And as you take that step, I can't tell you how many clients have come back to tell me, or I've watched their growth reveal that as they got clarity and they began to take the step, opportunity began to reach them on their path. You see, opportunity can't meet you in your confusion, and God will hold back opportunity until you get clear. He's not asking you to be perfect. He's actually not even asking you to know all of the answers. What he is telling you to do is to take the next step. So when I'm offering you the opportunity for you to get clear and get connected, I want you to be strategic, to be intentional, and most of all, move. Get going, get on the move. Yes. So let me see some more questions. How does our mindset influence our ability to adapt to change? Latoya, I love that question. And that actually aligns with the brain dump I just talked about. You see, that brain dump, if we're honest, we will try to edit the ideas before they even get the opportunity to be birthed. If I can be honest with Living Strong, there have been key moments in which all the way back in 2016, the vision to do online trainings, to do online live events, to do webinars was something I wrote on my great big piece of paper back in 2016. I didn't know how to do it. I didn't think I was ready to do it, but I wrote it down anyway. And who would know? At 4 years later, a pandemic would force me into moving forward. But guess what? The moment I took the step, I remembered that I had written that down as a part of the dream. But I had been walking out each step of the assignment, cultivating content, preparing my ability to speak, continuing to build my message as I took step by step. When the opportunity to go live, to do webinars, to have a radio show and podcasting opportunity arrived on the path, I was ready. Before we go to break, I want to share a quote that I listened to over the past week. Bishop T.D. Jakes, in one of his live shorts, said this quote, that you know what? It actually isn't about you worrying about your future. Stop worrying about what's ahead of you. God is already there preparing that moment. What you need to worry about is preparing you. So when that moment shows up, you're ready for it. He's already got your destiny taken care of. You have to worry about how are you preparing you. So when I have mindset questions for me are tied to, are you focused on preparation for you, or are you trying to do God's job and more focused on your destiny, which he's already taken care of, and you're missing the opportunity to pay attention to your assignment that he has right in front of you. Shift your mindset. Focus more on the next step. Write down your dreams without editing, and then pay more attention to your assignment over big purpose, and you will be amazed at how your clarity, intentionality, and your obedience of stepping will open the door for opportunity to meet you on your path. Well, it's time for our first commercial break. And as we take this break, I encourage you, if you have not yet signed up for our girlfriend gathering on March 26th, the deadline is coming to a close. And actually, we are reaching capacity. Log on to livingstrongllc.com, and on our landing page, grab your spot. And because you are a Voice America listener, this is your discount promo code. GFG 2022 will get you a discount and get you in the room. Are you ready to change? I want to meet you there. We will be right back.
All right, we're all clear.
Ooh, Gabe. All right, one down.
We got through it.
Hello. Hello, Facebook family. Thank you, my girlfriend gathering crew. So we're on commercial break for a few moments, and I'm going to let you in on a secret. So my guest was a no-show, and I am calling on you. If you have questions about change, put them into our Facebook comment section. And as I try to stream through this, I want to grab your questions. Help a sister out. Keep this conversation going. And you know what? Why don't we push some likes and some loves and even push this spontaneous moment? This might be an opportunity for someone to realize that just because a situation didn't happen the way you planned, that you can pivot and still thrive, not just by yourself, but because of what's in you. There is more in you in this moment. This is a teachable moment for me and you, because there was a moment in time in which I could have canceled this entire segment, but instead, when it was lights, camera, action, I said, let's do it. And my girls, they rallied around me. And you, I am hoping you will do the same. Let's learn together how to press through. We can be resilient. And remember, resilience isn't about bouncing back. It's about how can you take what you have been served to bounce forward. Woo! We are doing this thing
Coming
together.
back in 15 seconds.
15 seconds. Here we go.
Succeed. VoiceAmericaEmpowerment.com.
This is Living Strong, the flip side of adversity with Dr. Virdra Jackson. To reach the live show today, call into 1-888-346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. You may also send an email to info@livingstrongllc.com. Now, back to Living Strong, the flip side of adversity.
Welcome back. And you know what? We're showing up with an opportunity for a open mic change conversation. So now I am taking this opportunity to answer your questions about change. I was caught in a moment where we had a guest plan and she didn't show up. So what do? Do you shrink back when situations happen that don't look the way you want them to look? Or do you press forward and decide that, you know what, there's more in me and I'm going to move forward? So one of the questions while we were on break that showed up in our comments was from Jason. And I encouraged us to focus on not just your destiny, but focus on how you are going to connect with your assignment, not just your purpose. And Jason asked the question, how do you prioritize the assignment for day to day to get to the end goal? Awesome question, Jason. So for me, I become really honest about what most aligns with the thing that I have been working the hardest on, that I know in my heart. Now, this might be a gut response. This might be where you have been given an assignment and you've been ignoring it. You haven't been saying yes to it, but it keeps showing up. This is an assignment that is tied to your area of strength. Move in your strength. So as you've been given an assignment that is based on your area of strength and gifting, your ultimate goal is here, but in order for you to move in that direction, you must take this next step of an assignment that might stretch you, but it is doable if you move. But it's recognizing you're going to have to move. And don't worry about if it's the right, perfect move. Make the move. If you become intentional about it and you move into it and you discover that, this doesn't feel just right, guess what? It's not a failure. You just make another course correction because you've learned from that move. But it's getting paralyzed and not moving at all because you're saying, which one of these should I choose? Choose one based on your strength, based on what keeps showing up in your mind and in your heart, and step in it in obedience. But you've got to move. So when I look at more of our questions, I can't wait to, Donna says, I can't wait. So excited for the next session of Girlfriend Gathering. So I want to move into another piece as I'm looking for questions. Another piece when I'm thinking about change. The first is get out of your head. The second is pay attention to your assignment over the long range destiny. The third is get ready with your ask. Get ready with your ask. Now, Girlfriend Gathering Crew, this is your assignment for March 26th. When I am coaching clients and they're getting ready to move and they know that they need support, they don't know all of the things that they need to know in order to fully accomplish the goal, I'm telling you to organize your ask. What do I mean by that? There's so many times when I have worked with clients and I've asked them, what do you want? And they've stammered over trying to figure out the right words. They're worried about, will you judge me if I ask you for something? Can I actually ask someone for help? What will you think of me if I don't know all the answers and I need to ask? Oh, is this ask too much? Am I asking for too much? All of these questions flood their mind, and I'm asking, what is it that you want? In those moments, stop worrying about if the ask will be a yes or a no. The most important thing is that you push through that fear barrier and you ask. Get your ask ready. Why am I asking you this? So if you're going to be in the room for Girlfriend Gathering, I'm going to ask you to have your ask ready. When you have an audience and you have a group of people, or you are getting ready to make your pitch, or you are in an iron sharpens iron moment, you have to know what you're asking for and be ready to ask for it. Stop worrying about whether or not my pocketbook can handle your ask. All your assignment is to ask. Recognize that if you don't ask, you'll never get. One of the key things that I, again, have been sharpening my own skills in this area of getting crystal clear on what it is that I need in order to move forward in the next step of my assignment. Sharpening my ask. I listened to a podcast that talked about Marquita Andrews. She's the Guinness World Record holder for Girl Scout cookies. When she retired from selling Girl Scout cookies, she had sold over 30,000 boxes. Now, Marquita Andrews was clear on why she was selling Girl Scout cookies, because she wanted to be able to win the grand prize of a trip around the world to give to her mother, who had sacrificed her life giving and making sure that Marquita had everything she needed. And At her very young age of 7 years old, she started in deciding she was going to sharpen her ask. Her goal was to sell as many Girl Scout cookies as she could. So she practiced that ask, and she didn't care who it was. She knew why she was asking. So she cultivated that ask, and every opportunity she was in the room with a decision maker, someone she could ask, she asked. And she didn't worry about whether or not the answer was going to be yes or no. She had a slogan, SW, 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 SW. She said, some will, some won't. So what? Someone is waiting. Someone's waiting for you to ask. And because you're afraid about what the answer might be, you're sabotaging your next opportunity. So I'm encouraging you in this change season, it's time for you to cultivate that ask. Identify what it is you want. And girlfriend gathering crew, on March 26th, you're going to have an audience of women who are ready to show up in a space to be the answer for you. We are your cheerleaders. Recognize, but we can't help you if you're not even clear about what you're asking for. So your next step in a change season is get clear about what you want and what you need. So when I look at some of the comments from our crew, Esther says, my girlfriend said she wishes she had heard this before her job interview today. She was in her own head, didn't have a clear vision, and didn't prioritize and prepare for the interview as she would have. Thank you for your message. It will be her homework going forward for her next interview. It is so true that sometimes we will get so hung up on what we are anticipating the answer to be, we won't prepare for asking for what we want out of that moment. When I think about managing change, Nancy says managing change means expecting things to not work as I have planned or would like, and to accept it and be aware of what is trying to get my attention. I love that. We have to anticipate the fact that when we are going after a big dream, it's not meant to be easy. So stop getting hung up on the fact that you found or walked or stumbled upon a barrier. If it was that easy to get to the thing that's in front of you that you are calling your dream, everybody would be doing it. But this is a unique thing for you. And so show up in recognizing I'm not going to get sabotaged by the fact that there is a barrier in front of me. I'm actually going to use this moment to dig deeper, to recognize how am I going to move around it, over it, through it, or reach for someone to help me leap over it. You see, recognizing that the barrier is actually only there to show you you're on the right path. If it was easy sailing, I would say you are dreaming too small. Recognize this is an opportunity for everything that has happened to you in your history to show up in your current story. Everything can be used in this moment if you're willing to leverage your scars to find the authority that you stand in this moment. This is a change season. This is an opportunity. How are you going to leverage this season? So when I look at some more of our questions, is there a way to sharpen your ask? There is, Jeanette. So when we are desiring to sharpen our ask, it's an opportunity for you to look into pitches. So there are whole platforms where you can, we are in the age of YouTube University. I want you to research pitch competitions. I want you to research how to create my pitch, because all an ask is your pitch. You are sharing your concept and then following it up with, so this is what I need in order for me to continue to add value to every audience I show up in. See, sometimes people shy back away from the ask because they're so caught up in their head that, oh, I don't want to sound boastful. Oh, I don't know. What will people think if I ask them for something? That's the wrong mindset. When you are sharpening your pitch or you're sharpening your ask, you're getting crystal clear on why your current assignment is going to add value to those who are in front of you. And because it's going to add value, you need partners to continue to accelerate your process. And so you're actually creating an opportunity for someone to come alongside of you to create impact. So you're not taking from that person with your ask, you're collaborating with them. And so your ask becomes not just about taking, but giving. You are creating a pitch that is crystal clear on why what you are offering is going to shift opportunities for others and how that person you're now asking can get in on adding value to others as well through the conduit of your dream, your platform. Eliminate the deficit mindset. Remove it from your vocabulary. Everything about your dream, everything about your assignment is all about your ability to move value forward for others. So why wouldn't someone want to answer your ask with yes? And even if they don't, remember Marquita Andrews' statement, some will, some won't, so what? Someone is waiting. When we come back from this next break, we're going to close out this change conversation with more questions from our Facebook community and an opportunity for you to understand how you can move and walk more intentionally by unpacking what habits do you need to change in order to level up. We will be right back.
All right, all clear.
One more down. Here we go, Gabe.
One more. We got it.
Hello, Facebook community. Yes, thank you for the hearts. Thank you for the thumbs up. Help a sister out. Yep. Well, if you're just logging in, we had a guest prepared, but she didn't show up. So I am talking about how we are making a pivot. If there's anything we know, that life will continue to throw us curveballs. And I want to talk about, how do we respond? How do we, instead of continuing to shake, get to a place where we recognize this is not what I wanted, but there's more in me. So this must mean that this moment, even this moment, was a part of my destiny. And how am I going to show up in this moment? Come on and throw me some more questions. Help me help you in this change season. I know 2022 continues to move forward, so I know there has got to be something you want to know about how can I continue to level up even in this season. So how do we prepare our hearts and minds to always be ready for change? I love that question. I think we're going to start there when we come back from our commercial break. Yes, Esther, I love it. I have to get out of my head about asking.
Coming back in 15.
This is Living Strong, the flip side of adversity with Dr. Virdra Jackson. To reach the live show today, call into 1-888-346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. You may also send an email to info@livingstrongllc.com. Now, back to Living Strong, the flip side of adversity.
Welcome back. We have been talking about how do you navigate change when something you didn't want shows up and you've got to make a pivot. You're not going to shrink back because you know that even in this moment, the moment that you didn't even want, even in this moment, you can use this moment to leverage you to move forward. So we had some questions that we were navigating, and one of them was, how do we prepare our hearts and our mind to always be ready for change? Well, in answering that question, it is built in for me in my daily routine. The first thing I am challenging you to do is check your expectations. See, when our expectations do not have us recognize that change is the only constant thing we can count on in life, frustration shows up. So if I check my expectations and recognizing that at any given moment, change will be a part of my narrative and that my God is for me and not against me. And therefore, even in this moment, he will use it and me to move me forward in my path. So when that expectation is my foundation, I don't have to fear the moment I'm in. I shift my mindset to understand that I am going to win. Now, is it going to be easy? No, not necessarily. Will I have to pick up other new skill sets? Absolutely. Will I be stretched in the process? Yes, indeed. But it's recognizing when I create the expectation that I'm going to have to grow, I'm going to have to stretch, that in this process, I cannot expect it to be easy. And my fourth thing, which actually has been a part of my mindset, I remember thinking this way in the early years of undergrad in college, that there have been others who have gone before me that had to endure far more than me. And because they did it, so can I. God has made me creative enough that if someone else has figured it out, so can I. If someone else endured hardship to open a door for me to be able to stand in this moment, how dare I not walk through? So from early years of before I even started my first major career job or even thought that there was a mission or a calling on my life, just a student in a college classroom trying to figure out how to create an impact on the world, that thought rested in my head that if someone else sacrificed for me to be in this moment, then I can't shrink back now that I'm standing in it. And if there is a big calling on my life, there's a scripture that I've shared actually in the past on this platform, that if I tire from running with men, how will I ever run with horses? So for me, that scripture says that if I get tired in the small thing and God is trying to stretch me for the big thing, I have to recognize I've got to get stronger, more stable, create the systems so that as it is time for me to run, I have the stamina to run. But it's going to require my expectations to be, this is not going to be a stroll. It's going to be a run. And if there are others who are running, I can build the capacity to do the same. There is creativity, there is potential, there are abilities in me. I just have to align my expectations that I can tap into them, that it's not beyond me, and that if there's an opportunity for me to learn it, I'll learn it. If there's a need for a new relationship, I'll find it. We talked about that in the very last episode. We are all one engagement away from a destiny moment. How will you show up? Will you allow your mind to open your eyes to the opportunity that is in front of you, even if it doesn't look like what you thought it would look like, even if it's not the person you thought you would receive it from? Will you be ready for the unexpected? Shift your expectations and allow your mindset to go forward. Lisa asks, how do you get out of your head when you have so many around you putting stuff in your head? Oh, Lisa, I love that question because I remember a period in time in which there was no one believed in the dream that I was sharing. The next step that I wanted to take, it didn't make sense to anyone. And you know what? It didn't have to make sense to them. It was my dream. It was my assignment. It was my calling. And there are certain times in which instead of pushing against someone, you say, you know what? Thank you for your concern. But what's for me is for me. And I, in this season, have to listen to my God and my assignment. And I appreciate your input. But what's for me is for me. And I don't expect you to understand it. Everyone does not get the opportunity to have access to you. Everyone does not get the opportunity to give you their advice. Identify what it is that you need to understand about your assignment and fill your time with information, whether it be podcasts, articles, books, narratives, stories about people who are farther along on the journey of where you want to go, and focus in on 30 minutes a day, listening to something that informs you on understanding how to move closer to your next step in your own journey. And stop listening to those who are not even on the same course you're on. Everybody doesn't get an opportunity to share their opinion. Wow, I can't believe this hour's gone by so fast. We're already at 4 minutes to our close. So let's see. I appreciate. What other questions do we still have? So Esther asked, what mantra, is there a mantra that I share, think about when I am trying to get out of my own way? Well, I don't know so much if it is a mantra as it is a clarity that I have to move forward. And those who listen to any parts of things that I have said in the past, you know what I'm getting ready to say. Every single morning, I set intention. As I open my eyes first thing in the morning, I share and say out loud to myself, "Oh Lord, bless me indeed. Enlarge my territory, that your hand would be with me. Keep me from evil, that I may cause no pain." When I recognize that I'm on an assignment and that I've asked God to provide me with new territory, there's an obligation for me to shift my mindset and become intentional with my next strategy and not shrink back because I've asked for this opportunity to grow, and that His hand will be with me, that my intention is to be love and light, and that I will cause no pain, and then trust Him at His word and His faithfulness. I appreciate the fact that in this pivot moment, shown up for me. And I hope that this teachable moment for me, in the moments just before we went live, I could have said, I don't want to do this. I can't do this. Those words were ready to release from my lips, but instead I leaned in and I said, you know what? There's something in me that needs to be said. And so we're going to use this moment to say it. Recognize that as you get ready for your tomorrow, stand firm in how you will cultivate your skills today. Create the systems around your habits. What one habit do you need to shift today? Not a whole laundry list. What one habit do you need to shift today in order for you to show up stronger tomorrow? My skill set in this change moment was believing I can do it, even when it doesn't look like what I want it to. Girlfriend Gathering crew, this has been Living Strong, the flip side of adversity. Join us March 26th if you are ready for your change moment. Register at livingstrongllc.com and I will see you. Use GFG 2022 and grab your seat. We made it through, and I look forward in connecting with you next week, same time, same place, on the flip side.
All right, we're all clear. Great show.
Woo! Thank you, Gabe.
No problem. I got to bounce for the next show, but it was great. So I'll see you next week, Dr. Jackson.
See you next week.
Take care.
Woo, Facebook family. Can I first say thank you? None of that was on script for
Ladies and
this.
gentlemen, didn't she do a great job? Y'all give her a hand. Give her a hand clap of praise in the comment section right now. Encourage your heart right now. The flip side, the essence of pivoting.
When I tell you the essence of pivot, when nothing, you think you had a plan, that plan explodes, and you, even in that moment, try to figure out, how can I get an out? And there is an out. That, you know what? I need to take a breath. I'm going to breathe. I'm going to step into this moment, and I'm going to show up. This isn't going to be, I know it is a cliche, but we can so quickly cancel things. When actually, it might be the moment where you stretch and realize the very thing you thought you could never do, he's actually already given you the skill to do. He just wanted to show you and give you the opportunity for you to know what he's always already known. It's in you. It's in you. Just pivot. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Girlfriend crew, I saw you show up. I saw you show up in the comments. There's nothing like an iron sharpens iron moment when 2 minutes before you're supposed to go on, you call on the crew and say, I need you. And all of them show up. Thank you, Nancy and Esther and Jeanette and Latoya and Lisa and Dale. Oh, all of you, Cheryl and Courtney, Donna, all of you showed up. Latoya, exactly. No script. This was a unscripted moment. You girls have my back. Nothing like it. I love you. See ya. Have a good one. Whew, we made it on the flip side.
Won't he do it?
Won't he do it? I know that's right.